Hi everyone, this is my speech outside the bubble. Talking about my own experiences inside a plurinational society like the Ecuadorian should be easy. Ecuador is a country with a lot of nuances. In a moment, you can stay surrounded by trees and nature, and after, you can be on the beach. The same happens with the people. Natives, monos, blacks, even yellow people coexist here. However, in spite of we live in this country, the diversity seems to don't exist when it comes to live together. The standard that society has created have stereotypes and complexes to lead to confronts between who are inside against who are outside from the standard. To understand and contextualize better my starting point, you have to know that I'm Afro-Ecuadorian. I have lived all my life in Kumbaya. I don't have money, and my family has been living in this parish, Kumbaya, by more than 80 years. Maybe it sounds irrelevant or even arrogant, but it's a topic who has had different levels of influence to my life. Maybe you have heard that Kumbaya is like a bubble. In some way, it's true because it's like a tiny city inside another bigger city. The Kumbaya's reality is so different from Quito or the other towns that conform it. In this parish, the rhythm of the life is slower than in the city. In addition, there are a lot of services that a common city requires to develop. It's curious that even the crime indices in comparison with nearby parishes like Tobacco or Pifo is less here. Kumbaya sounds like the perfect neighborhood to live or work, and in some way is true too. But what happens when somebody is outside the standard created? When I walk by Kumbaya, I can feel safe. I feel like I am in my home. But when I was a teenager, I discovered that other people didn't not feeling like me, especially when they saw me. When I walked on the sidewalk and someone came from the opposite direction, they get scared or just cross the sidewalk. From those experiences, I started feeling weird. It's like one day someone arrived their home and go to this bed and start feeling uncomfortable or just misplaced. This is a reality with which I have had to learn to live and relates that even though I have lived all my life in this place, I will never be able to feel completely comfortable. I understood that my skin tone was not suitable to can be accepted by the standard. For example, I remember that I when was a little boy, my school grade was invited to Colegio Menor, one of the most expensive schools in Ecuador. After being a teenager and walking the streets and saying that several people crossed the sidewalk out of fear of thought that I would steal them, I realized that the same thing happened to me at the Colegio Menor when I was 6 years old. But in that school, somehow I tried to assimilate to understand why I was the only black who was there that day, and perhaps those children had never seen a black in their school. After all, it's an exclusive school. But in the streets of my neighborhood, it was strange, and in one way or another, it made me think that the problem was me. And like every insecure teenager, I asked myself, could it be that I, if I walk differently, they will stop doing it? Or if I smile all the time, will it improve? Anyway, I asked myself several questions because I assumed that the problem was me and not the other people who had rational prejudice. I thought with the passage of time and meaning to obtain experiences from different black friends, I realized that this is a situation that has become normalized among the majority of Afro-Ecuadorians, who simply already assume as part of our reality and simply learn to live with it. That is now when I walk on the streets at night, I avoid going through shortcuts or alleys that I know, and I know that they are safe because maybe there is someone else, white person, who when he sees me will feel intimidated. It sounds strong and racist, but it's a situation that I have had to get used to and take as normal. Kumbaya has around 30, 31,000 inhabitants and around 2,100, no, 200 private home complexes. Data that speak about the kind of families who decide lives in this valley. The cost of the land has been a discriminating factor that has forget the identity of Kumbaya. This factor contributed to create stereotypes about people who live here. For example, usually when I mention that I live in Kumbaya, people think that I live in a large house with a ward or that I have a lot of money. I create a social stereotype. Once they told me, but you are black as you live there. Your dad must be a soccer player. Many times I hear black friends say that they beat or insult someone who discriminated them against them. But from my point of view, that should should not be the answer. I believe that the best answer to discrimination or any similar act must be answered by with intelligence, even above more than education. This is my shield. I believe that because after all, if someone is racist, they are it is because they are people who ignore or are not able to assimilate that nobody is above someone else. Feeling part of the of something and not being it and not being is it is hard when you don't have enough education to assimilate it correctly. Finally, I think that the racism goes further from acts is a topic related with the power that is applied over the majority that finishes being the minority, thanks to the lack of opportunities. The diversity of which the country is famous really only exists in sectors where the lack of resources is tangible and is felt. Those sectors where diversity is the product of social inequality and not just the product of misgeneration. Misgeneration. Thank you.